Hey folks, it's Todd coming at you from the cellar of Vermont Wine Media, and I've got a little comparative tasting I want to do tonight. Actually, it's one I had planned on doing, but I did a bad job of keeping track of stuff in the cellar here, and one of the bottles got pulled for dinner tonight. So I grabbed the other one out from its spot so that we could do this little test. Idea being, everybody at this point is probably familiar with Malbec. And as the grape that was originally from France made its way to Argentina and has been banging it up for the last few years with some really nice red wines. When they first showed up on the market, they were just blowing people away because they were so good, and the price was really great. It was a kind of like a bonanza for a while there, and then as things go, the market matured a little bit. Some higher end Malbec started showing up. Some really nice stuff like Catina's Malbecs. They make beautiful stuff. And then also some lower end Malbecs started showing up that weren't as great. And so on the on the $10 end, you really had to kind of be paying attention and pick and choose, because not everything was worth the $10. Some was worth more, others not so much. And so, anyways, one of the brands that we've been drinking for a few years now, because it's very reliable, is the Doña Paula Estate from Mendoza, Valle de Uco. And this has always been very good to us. In fact, I've got a few older bottles down here. I think I've got, I don't know that much older. There's a 2007. They have changed their branding a little bit in the last couple of years, or at least with this one. So yeah, Argentina, Malbec, everybody knows that, but not as many people are cued into the fact that across the Andes Mountains, they've got Malbec in Chile too. They got a lot of stuff in Chile, and they're at the point where they've got grapes all over the country, but they're really starting to pick and choose, finding places in the terroir that they've already been working in and deciding to do, very conscious, special things with them. So they've got Malbec across the way too, and so the bottle that got pulled up tonight was the Montes Malbec, also 2010, like this one. And Montes is another brand name that we've been familiar with for a number of years and has always been very good to us. And this is in the Colchagua Valley in actually it says Curicó and Colchagua. Although I think this particularly comes just from Colchagua, but Montes is in both places. And so I figured, let's do a quick side by side to see how these fare, because I know that, I've not seen as many Chilean Malbecs on the market, but in the last couple of years I've gotten grapes from Chile in the springtime and made wine with them, and I've been getting Malbec the last couple of years. And last year was a little thinner. The year before it was very raisinated. It almost was like Amarone when we made it. It was delicious. It really was an important part of the blend. Okay, so we've got Argentina on my left, your right, and Chile over on this side. I should probably be spinning them both in the same direction, but that's not the way it's working. Well, here I can. There we go. So, start with Argentina first, since they broke ground with this in the American market first. Rich red fruit. Plummy. Some vanilla notes. Probably from the oaking program. Let's look over here. This smells like a Chilean wine. It's got a little bit of that eucalyptal twang to it. Still get some red fruit, but it's a little bit tighter. A little more herbaceous. Color on these, color extraction is about the same, maybe a little bit deeper color on the Argentinian side of the border. Yeah, this smells like a slightly richer wine. The French oak that I was picking up on this when we first opened it is not so apparent anymore. But I'm getting also kind of like a soil aspect. And this is where, you know, if you've tasted wines in places where they're from, sometimes you can actually smell it in the soil. And this, smell it in the wine, what you smell in the soil, I don't know. All I know is that this smells familiar to me. This smells familiar because I've had them before, but this, experientially, when I smell it, reminds me of something about Chile, in the air, the dust, the smell of the vegetation. Although I would say, even though this one to me is really hitting a nostalgic note, this one is actually kind of like the wine that probably more people would say, whoa, that's nice. So let's start over on this side in Chile. Nice red fruit. It's kind of cherry, raspberry. Good acidity. I mean, tight acidity. Light. It reads not with a lot of concentration or with a lot of alcohol. Vaguely smoky note, too, in the back end of the palate. A little bit on the nose. Good food wine. Yeah, this just smells richer and more voluptuous, more riper. The fruit's more forward. It's rounder, it's softer, it's riper. The fruit has a slightly, like a stewed cherry aspect. Again, moving more towards plum. A little bit of heat shows at the end, but not much. Nice grip on the tannins. The tannins show up a little bit better on this side after the fruit. I'm personally liking this one more, just for the character. But I could see this one being the one that would probably satisfy most people's palates most readily. Both good wines. Both around $11. I'd say that Argentina still maybe has the upper hand here. They've had more time to be in the marketplace and know what to make for us here. But I'd say that the Chileans are probably not too far behind. And you know, keep your eyes open for stuff that's coming out of here. I think I've mentioned that before. Wow, actually, that's 14% alcohol by volume. I would not have guessed that. It's the first time I looked at that. I would have guessed it for like a 12.5, 13 max. This one's 14.1, which maybe makes a little bit more sense based on the extraction and the warmth, but interesting. Okay, well, I'll have a little bit more of these later on and cap them and then see how they do tomorrow. Anyways, from south of the border, oh, no, it was that way. Salud.